We know the theory, we talk about it and we expound it, and we also talk about it to others. But what is the kind of practice that you do? Swami Bhajananandaji repeatedly emphasized to us, don't talk about anything which you do not practice yourself. It will simply fall flat. There will be no power behind it. When Sri Ramakrishna said, God is, God can be seen, He can be realized. Realization of God is the only aim of human life. Whole of human life is a waste. You live in vain unless you realize God, having attained the blessed human birth. When he says that, the ring of truth, it simply falls upon you like a thunderbolt. When Swami Vivekananda spoke, the kundalinis of thousands of people used to be awakened, Swamiji himself says. And since they were not ready for it, when it comes back with a thud and strikes the Mooladhara, all kinds of impure samskaras used to come up on the surface. So why is it that our talks and retreats and all kinds of books, etc., is making little impact? I don't say no impact. A small amount of impact, if at all. Some changes do take place. That's because unless you practice what you teach, even infinitesimally, sincerely attempt to practice, it will only remain only in books. There is a very great professor of Vedanta in the college where I was a principal earlier. He was very good in Vedanta. He wrote a big essay in the Brahma Swarupa for the students. It carried 20 marks. Philosophy students. But he himself was in terrible misery. So all of us know some theory, as Ramakrishna says, the vulture soars so high, but all the time it is in the eyes of the carrion. So some kind of practice is necessary. You believe something and you practice it and see whether it works. This is exactly what Ramakrishna told Narendra. You can see him, I can show him to you, but who wants? The fundamental thing is whether we want. So as I told you, samsara, viraga of the samsara and anuraga for God. Viraga of the samsara takes place by scriptures. The 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Urdhva Avakshaka, etc. Samsara Vriksha is described graphically. Shankara in the Bharshya, he begins by saying, talking about Brahman, talking about the supreme spiritual truths, why did Bhagavan describe the samsara vriksha in some detail? He says, in order to awaken the vairagya in people. This is what samskara is, samsara is. Edavan vai kamaha, this much is only kama. How much can you go? If you can repeatedly study the samsara itself, the great scientists who were very serious about science explored, finally came to the conclusion that knowledge being so vast, what you have understood is so little. That realization crushes your ego and the vastness of the infinitude peeps into you. Scientists like Newton and Einstein, I name these two particularly, there is no area of physics which Newton or mathematics Newton did not work on. He says, I seem to make myself like a baby, like a child, playing on the seashore, picking a pebble here and there, while the vast, infinite ocean of truth lies undiscovered before me. Einstein said, my religion consists of a humble adoration of an illimitable intelligence which our dull faculties can comprehend only the most primitive form. The most profound, most sublime emotion one can feel is the sensation of the mystical and the religious. He, without this sensation, without this feeling, is as good as dead. He who cannot wonder in rapt awe is almost dead. To know what is impenetrable can really exist. Manifesting itself is the sublime truth and the most radiant beauty which our dull faculties can comprehend only as the most primitive form, this feeling of mystical consciousness is the true mainspring of all scientific research. This is Einstein. This is a well-known quote. Ultimately, you see the beauty of nature, the remarkable infinity of nature. You look at a spider's web. You don't have to go for anything else. How many architects can make such a web? This little creature simply throws a fluid from its own mouth and look at the architecture, look at the symmetry, look at the beauty, and then withdraws the entire thing into itself. Look at a small ant. I used to watch ants in my childhood. My mother used to scold, "Study now. Where are you? See, look at these ants, how you..." Tirelessly they keep on working, go to the small hole. So much of food grain they have gathered for their children, offsprings, due for the rainy day. Look at anything in nature. These Himalayas. Himalayas are nothing compared to a small little insect, small little ant, and the spiders in the forest. Anything you take in nature, there's a symmetry, there's a beauty, there's a great wisdom involved. That's why study of nature in its depth itself will throw you up to realize the infinite. You don't have to think of God, you don't have to think of anything else. Just observe nature. Observe nature not from the point of view of God or spirituality. Just look at the wisdom that nature has given to these little creatures, the tiniest of creatures. Mosquitoes. Plenty of them we have from the place I come from, Velur Mutt. Such wisdom mosquitoes have. I'll tell you a small story and begin. Plenty of mosquitoes used to be there, and the number is now less because of we killed them, unfortunately. We used to have mosquito curtains because it's very risky. The disadvantage of a mosquito curtain is once a mosquito enters, it will not go out. Once a mosquito entered, I didn't notice it. It went on drinking my blood. I saw the belly was full of blood. It's red. It couldn't drink anymore. Then slowly crawled. I'm actually describing what I actually saw. If I were a photographer with a high quality camera, that would have the best of photographs in the whole world. It went to the end of the mosquito curtain. A very tiny mosquito, maybe a son or a daughter, we don't know. The offspring, obviously. It came and peeped in. And this mosquito, the mother mosquito, also peeped out. And like a siphon, the small mosquito completely drank all the blood. I could see slowly the level was decreasing. And that fellow was full of blood now. Then I was just observing. Then the mother mosquito came to me again to fill up its belly. I told it, for this one action, any amount of blood I am willing to give you, provided you don't give me malaria. That was the contract. Whole night, you believe me, I couldn't sleep. I said, what a strange phenomenon. This little insect. Who taught it? What are the university in which you studied? First sentence in Ramakrishna Kathamrita. You want to teach people? This is one problem with the Calcutta people. Calcutta people means so-called educated people like us. You want to teach others? You want to bring knowledge to others who he will teach. He who has created the sun and the moon and the stars, who has created the parents, the mother and the father, has put love in the hearts of the parents to take care of the offsprings, he will teach. In this little mosquito, how much of prema, how much of love it is there for the offspring. So the whole of spirituality is only prema ultimately. This is the verdict of Swami Vivekananda. Those who have not studied in Bengali, it's called Shakhara Prati, beautiful poem. It's an autobiographical poem of Swamiji. And in English it's called To a Friend. Please read it. If you can get some Bengali to read it out to you, it's so remarkable. It said, I traveled everywhere, so much of tapasya, so much of sadhana, backbone breaking kind of sadhana. I fasted, I roamed about in the Himalayas. What did I get? Nothing. Finally, I realized there is one boat which carries you across the waters of life, which is Prem Imatrathon. Unselfish, pure love is the only thing which can take you beyond. That love is called jnana, this love is called bhakti, this love karma is called yoga. There's only one word. Pure, unselfish love. If you can possess that kind of love, you have conquered the world. Sri Ramakrishna was Parama Prema Swarupa. That is the definition given by Narada in the Bhakti Sutras. What is Bhakti? Parama Prema Swarupa. Ishvara is Parama Prema Swarupa, and Sri Krishna came down to give unasked, unstinted from his infinite storehouse of prema. That's why Krishna is such a charming, so beloved of everybody because of the prema which he gave. And Sri Krishna is Leela with everybody, even with the Pandavas, of course, and even the Kauravas. And even when all the cowherd boys, how he behaved with everybody, how he poured his heart out from the bounty of his prema within. There is a story about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya was a very recent Inkarva, 500, 600 years ago, just before Sri Ramakrishna. The Chaitanya Leela people, the biographers and those who wrote about Chaitanya say, why did he incarnate in the male form? Because he wanted to taste the prema of Radhika. Sri Krishna was the object of Radhika's love and the Gopika's love. So he himself does not know what it means to love like Radhika because he is the object of the love. So he was very curious to know, how does it look like? What is the quality of that kind of unselfish, purest of the pure love which the Gopikas and Radhika have towards me as Sri Krishna? I cannot taste it because I am the object of their love. So I should be born again in a male body as Radhika to taste Radhika's love for Sri Krishna. These are wonderful statements. He is Radhika and Krishna in one, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. And in Sri Ramakrishna, all the disciples believed he was Sri Chaitanya, he was Radhika, he was Rama, he was Krishna, he was Jesus, many, many more. All the incarnations merged into him, as we know. So the infinite dimensions of God, particularly, is prema aspect. In essence, Buddha was more dry. He never used the word prema anywhere. Bhajananand used to say, Buddha never used the word prema. He was terribly afraid of getting attached. So he used the word Maitri and Karuna. Later on in the Yoga Sutra, the same terminology is used. Same terminology occurs in the Gita also. So some people say it is some Buddhistic terminology has creeped into the Bhagavad Gita, scholars say. Jesus is supposed to be the God of love. Bhajananji gave us a beautiful insight. We love God, or constantly all the scriptures say love God with all their heart, have bhakti towards Him and so on. Hinduism rarely teaches before Sri Chaitanya, before Sri Ramakrishna, God loves you. Christianity says, Jesus saves. Jesus loves you. That gives you tremendous encouragement. Mother also said, I am here as your mother. Don't worry. Whenever you are in distress, say, I have a mother. That gives you so much of protection, so much of elevation, so much of strength and courage. He has come down only for our sake. Remember, this I want to emphasize again, we are not ordinary people. We are the children of Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother Sharada, and Without him, he also cannot live in peace. If the children are not there, how does the mother feel? How does the father feel? He wants our company much more than we want his company. He loves us much more than we can ever love him. Remember this. Remember how Sri Ramakrishna says, a cow runs behind the calf out of great affection. In the beginning, he is a huge magnet which draws us. Later, the devotee becomes the magnet and draws God to come down as an incarnation, Avatara-Tatawa. Sri Krishna's life you can see in the Gita teachings. Again it is, Bhaktos me sakha cheti rahasyam hetuduttama. You are my devotee, you are my child, you are my sakha, you are my friend. I have very deep affection for you. And therefore, O Arjuna, I am telling you this. I would have normally not told it to anybody. You have no asuya. You have so much of affection for me, and because of my love for you, I am telling you all this. Please listen carefully. Shrunu, so many times, Shrunu, please listen. Carefully you listen. This rare teaching don't miss. Again and again he says this because the avatara can love you much more than you can love him. In the case of Brahman, Nirguna Brahman simply sits quiet. He doesn't speak, he doesn't do anything. So that kind of Brahman is useful, let it be there for lectures. But we want that kind of God of love who can respond, who is, in the present context, Nirguna Gunamaya Niranjana Nararupadhara, Bhaswara Bhava Sagara Shara Unmada Prema Pathar Bhaktarjana Jugala Charana Tarana Bhavapar. So he is Nirguna Saguna, he is Niranjana Nararupadhara, and the intensest love he has for us. Look at Jrumbita Yoga Ishvara Jagadishvara. Jrumbita means expressed. Jagadishvara has been expressed in the human form. Towards the end of his life, look at Sri Ramakrishna's life, compare it to Sri Krishna. He cannot speak, he cannot eat. He was so ill. And he's suffering like anything. Although Swami Turiyananda said, you are not suffering, you are in bliss. But whatever, apparently in the human form he is suffering a lot. Cancer is a terrible disease. In those days, no medicines also were available. Like Kapuri in 20, this homeopathic medicine was given to him. He, with tears, he says, in Bengali I'll tell and they'll translate, তোরা যদি বলিস তার শরীরটা ছেড়ে দেবো আর পারছি না সেবা দিয়ে ভালোবাসা দিয়ে ভক্তি করে তোরা আমাকে কিন্তু বেঁধে রেখেছিস তোরা যদি বলিস আমি ছেড়ে দেব যখন ভাবি তোরা কেঁদে কেঁদে বাড়াবে রাস্তায় রাস্তায় তখন শরীর ছাড়তে ইচ্ছা করে না If you permit me, I will leave this body. I can't bear this suffering anymore. Look at the statement. Nitya Shuddha Mukta Ananda Swarupa Sachidananda is begging of his devotees permission to leave the body. There's the power of love, there's the power of bhakti. You can simply drag God and imprison him. You can't leave here anymore. And when I imagine all of you crying like beggars, moving in the streets without me, I don't feel like leaving this body and going away from me. So this is the power of love, this is the power of bhakti. He has more affection and love for us than we can ever have for him. He knows, we know our limitations. We love the worldly things, we love all the things in samsara, he knows it. And therefore, sometimes he comes and gives her tight slaps and drags like mother does. Child is playing here and there, is not coming for eating food or studying. The mother goes and does two tight slaps, and the child is crying. Immediately, mother takes in the lap, comes back home. He gives us some tight slaps, but we don't realize that these slaps for awakening us. The slap which he gave, the great slap, somebody can write a beautiful poem or a Mahakavya. The title I can give you, The Great Slap, which he gave to Rani Rashmani. Any poets and writers here? No. The great slap. Rani Dasmani, you know the story? Rani Dasmani was the queen of the estate at that time, under whom Ramakrishna was a very humble 7 rupee paid employee, pujari. Rani Dasmani came, can you sing some songs for the mother? Simply pouring his heart out in soulful rendering of some of the Ramprasad songs he was singing. And at that time a thought crossed to Rani Dasmani about a court case which is going on, what is going to happen. So Ramakrishna immediately could see that, slapped her. Even that thought, even now, in the presence of everybody. Look at the greatness of Rani Dasmani. He simply kept, he knew. So Bhagavan is Darpahari. That's also I wanted to stress here. Darpahari means he crushes your ego first. The story of Kaliya Mardana, all of you know, Kaliya was a deadly serpent. It was poisoning Yamuna's waters. Sri Krishna came, then danced on the Kaliya. You can see he catches hold of the tail and danced on it. That means several hoods it had. Ahankara, egoism, comes with several hoods. And Bhagavan is Darpahari, crushes your egoism. I have egoism. Somebody is very fair. I'm very egoistic about my fairness. Somebody is highly learned. Ignorant, the egoism of learning, which M had. Oh, my wife, she is very ignorant. You are a jnani. Tu aar tumi jnani. Crushing the ego. Sri Ramakrishna's hobby, Avatara's hobby in general, they go to places uninvited and crush the ego of the top men there. He goes to Kalna. Kalna is a place where Bhagavan Das Babaji, who was the chief of the Vaishnava sect at that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's cult, he goes there uninvited. Then he is having a Harisabha like this. Suddenly he said, I smell a great man entered here. Ekjon Mahapurusha Agaman hoiche manoche. Sri Ramakrishna enters. At the end of the discourse, he is scolding one young Swami, mercilessly scolding him, said, I will take away your kanti, that kanti which they wear is a symbol of Vaishnavism, and I will drive you away from my sect. Then Sri Ramakrishna went into bhava, said, who are you, you arrogant, egoistic fellow? Who are you to drive him away? Going to their sampradaya, taking upon their leader, immediately he said, he understood he is Chaitanya himself. Rani Dasmani, for example. I thought of a story. It can be developed as a drama by somebody. We find so many people scolding us, calling us names, unfortunately, unnecessarily finding fault with us and spreading scandals and lies about us. It's a very common thing in the world. In the samsara in which we belong, that's also not very uncommon. We feel depressed and unhappy. Then I thought, why not think about this phenomenon? Go to Ramakrishna Loka for a minute. Nobody is around. Sharada Devi said, I will not come here even if I cut to pieces. Swami Vivekananda is in the Saptarshi Mandala. Rakhal is moving around. Rakhal comes and sees Ramakrishna's, all the fingers are broken, all the bones fractured. Then he's wearing bandage. Prabhu, what has happened to you? Hare, one thought crossed Rani Dasmani's mind when I was singing the song before the Mother Kali. I slapped her. Nowadays, everybody takes Diksha, everybody does Mantra Japa. Whenever they sit for meditation, all external thoughts alone come to them. So keeping on beating everybody, all my hands. Then Rakhal tells him, Hare, you do not know management science. What is that? Delegate powers to others. You don't beat. But how? There will be somebody who is inimical to that person. No person in the world does not have, not that he does not have enemies. Go to that person. Hey, why will you listen to me? Are you are the Antaryami. Have you forgotten? Yes, I know, I am the Antaryami. Go to the mind of that person, tell him, go and beat him. Then, that's a good idea. What is the lesson? Whenever somebody calls your name, somebody unjustifiably vilifies you. Remember this statement? Like Rani Rasmani, Sri Ramakrishna is beating you through that person so that your ego may be crushed. Tapasyan used to say, the most dangerous kind of egoism is a person, I am a holy man, I am a sadhu. This is not my statement. You know who said this? Sharada Devi, the Holy Mother, said, Girua porle ahankar hoy, sada kapadi bhalo. She showed her white cloth because immediately you feel I am a holy man. Hi, you make pranams to me, I feel puffed up. And the worst type of egoism is the feeling that I have no ego. See, have you seen anybody so humble and simple without egoism? Yes, you are so humble. And that is it. I have no ego at all. That is the worst type of egoism. Ego comes in innumerable forms, that is the Kaliya Mardana. In innumerable, infinite number of hoods it comes. And Bhagavan is a Darpahari, like Swami Vivekananda, Narendranath's eye he crushed in the first moment. I can show him to you because he had not studied in the books. He thought God can be seen, etc. How is it possible? When he said that the ring of truth was there, he crushed him at every point. M is a great example, even Rakhal, Narain, everybody. Because the one obstacle to realization of God is your ego. Everything Bhagavan can tolerate except egoism and hypocrisy. He just couldn't tolerate Pratap Chandra Hazra, great character in Ramakrishna Leela. He used to sit at the doorstep of Ramakrishna, and whenever the young boys go and got teachings from Ramakrishna, the moment they came out, he used to teach them the opposite. Once Ramakrishna became very much furious. He straight went to Divine Mother Kali. That was his remedy for everything. Ma, remove this fellow. He is just trying to reverse my teachings. Then he came to Hazra. I told Mother to remove you. 3 days, 4 days passed, nothing happened. Hazra said, well, I'm here. Oh, then it's not Mother's will. All right, be here, let us be friends. The Leela is so wonderful. Hypocrisy and egotism. She just couldn't bear. And be what you are. Don't try to show off. Showing off holiness is something just hated. Don't show off holiness. Swami Vivekananda's famous statement, 99 of our energies is spent in trying to make others believe what we are not. Observe this carefully. 99% of the energies are spent in making others believe what we are not. Then what is the way out? We would rather spend that energy in trying to become what we want others to see us as. I want to show that I am a great saint. Become a saint. That's the easiest way to show. I want to show as a scholar. Become a scholar rather than showing off as a scholar. Just he hated hypocrisy. Be simple, straightforward. So, the love of God, which we try to practice as bhakti, is easily attainable when God responds to your love. So what is the practice for this? We talked about the Gita, so many shlokas of the Gita. There are certain verses. What is the sadhana? In this paper I have given you this. Based upon the Bhagavad Gita, what are the sadhana centering on the Avatara? See, remember, all of us who are initiated into the Ramakrishna order by anybody else or elsewhere, the main sadhana is the Avatara or a deity as the Ishta Devata, and the name which is the mantra. That is the main sadhana. All the various scriptures that you study, the lectures you hear, all of them are only to reinforce your vairagya. Don't take them as sadhana. If you take all the great Advaita scriptures that you listen to and integrate them into your sadhana, you will find yourself absolutely wanting. There's great danger of trying to practice these sadhanas, which is now happening. Why I am telling you this? Many devotees, I travel all over India. There is one center in which there's a great number of devotees. They are extremely devoted to Sri Ramakrishna. They will clean the floor, they will pluck flowers, they will work in this Ramakrishna shrine. Recently, that Swami complains, these boys have lost, these volunteers have lost interest. They want Aham Brahmasmi meditation and want this Sakshi Chaitanya, etc. What to do with them? And the head of the center is also practice Sakshi Chaitanya. What Sakshi Chaitanya can you practice? You'll only practice sleeping Chaitanya. So don't try to practice them unless you are very highly evolved, unless you get it from a really illumined Jivan Mukta teacher. All the spiritual infotainment is wonderful. You get a lot of information and entertainment. What is the practice? Spiritual life in the Ramakrishna order is not mere talk. Repeatedly it has been mentioned. If you do not practice sadhana, if you do not use it for daily practice, all this talk is in vain. When Swami Shantatmanda requested me again and again, I learned and now I hear and see serious sadhakas. See, we just don't have the time to waste. We have enough and more work, enough and more time we need for our own sadhana. We don't want to entertain people. There is one Swami who used to give a lot of jokes and entertainment in America. One gentleman, very serious sadhaka, got him and said, Swami, we have plenty of places to go to for entertainment. We come here for enlightenment and not for entertainment. So all these great books are all right, but are you able to connect them with your sadhana? Ask yourself repeatedly. If you are sincere and you feel yourself fit for practicing the Advaita sadhanas, please go ahead, remembering the dangers ahead. That's why Sri Ramakrishna repeatedly warned the disciples. Swami Vivekananda also sometimes overstepped his Guru's injunctions. Sri Ramakrishna appears before him and said, Naren, stop, this is too much for them. In one lecture, Swami Vivekananda suddenly stopped the lecture and ran away. So many theories started floating. Wicked people said, Swamiji memorizes his lectures, he is forgotten in the middle. Somebody says, Swamiji is not well. When Swamiji was asked, he said, so much of power is surging within me. I thought, why should I speak and waste my time? This moment I can throw them into the infinite by my mere sankalpa and mere speech. Then I said, no. Vedanta doesn't accept this. Everybody has to work out his or her own karma. We should not disturb anybody else's karma. So I ran away. Once during a lecture, he was the height of his spiritual and intellectual and oratorical eloquence. Sri Ramakrishna appears and says, Naren, this is too much. Now tone down. That was a person, a rishi of the highest order speaking. What kind of impact he could make except half a dozen people. It is not easy. Buddhas and Christ came and went. Chaitanyas and Ramakrishnas came and went. The world is now going on with all the leaders that you see, all the wars and the conflicts and the acrimony and the hatred among people. So the world will go on its own way, but as far as our sadhana is concerned, we take it that all of you are serious sadhakas, mumukshus. So first place where you are. When you go to a huge exhibition or exposition, they say, you are here. So first place yourself in the whole map of sadhana. This is what Bhajananji repeatedly used to tell us. First place you where you are, from where you can slowly proceed. Don't start from the top to bottom. From here slowly step, I am here. Any new idea which comes to you, you should try to place it in your own map. He wrote a series of editorials. For 8 years he was the editor. 8 into 12, 96 editorials he wrote. Apart from the innumerable articles of such a spiritual value, we are trying to bring them up as book form slowly. He once wrote to me a personal letter in which he said, these editorials and the writings are but the narratives of a humble soul trying to seek the highest truth. By trial and error method. It has value only for him. However, others may find their maps, their roots in this map. This is exactly what we are doing now. So many ideas are thrown to you. I am throwing some ideas. Somebody will come some other ideas. You prepare a map of your own spiritual sadhana if you are serious about sadhana. Or if you want to listen to lectures and say, oh, wonderful, etc., that's a different story. Even that is good enough. Shrunuyadibiyo naraha, as Bhagavan says. Prepare a map of your own sadhana. And any idea, try to see where it can be placed. And ask yourself, I am here. Tomorrow, where will I be? Whether I am proceeding in the right direction or so. No guru will be able to help you beyond a point. Your mind will become your guru, as Swami Brahmananda said. The awakened mind, the Dhi, or the Gayatri, that will be your guide. And all the scriptures in the world that you study, read all the scriptures, jnana, bhakti, karma, yoga, psychology and philosophy, all that you can read, provided you can take those ideas and place them in your map in proper positions and realize this is not for me now. That I cannot digest now. Don't get totally confused. Many people, the YouTube has given so much of help to people, it has created so much of confusion also. So many people are practicing different kinds of meditation. They come and tell us. Some Acharya says flower meditation, flame meditation, all kinds of, they come and tell me, see, I don't know about all this. Are you initiated by a guru? Yes. Faithfully follow what he has said. Try it for some years and see what effect it has on you. First, we'll begin with Shraddha. Sri Ramakrishna's famous parable. A person was told, 100 feet you will find water. He went on digging. He got tired after 20 feet, said, no harm, no point. Dig somewhere else. So 5 places dug 20 feet. 5 into 20 is 100. He couldn't find water. Because he has to dig in the same place 100 feet. So stick on to a particular method of sadhana which the Guru has taught you, or which you feel comfortable with. Don't hop from one thing to the other just for fun or just for entertainment. This is my warning to you, which is, what it is called these days? When you send an email, at the bottom what is written there? Disclaimer. So this is the disclaimer I'm giving you. I am telling you so many things, so many people will say, these ideas of the Gita, etc., which I feel passionately about, I very strongly say this to you because I have felt it in my bones. That may not be for you. Try to place them in the map which you have to evolve your own. Swami Vivekananda spoke to a young man about something. So many young men were there. Next day that man came back. Swami, you spoke, it's excellent. Yes, that is for you. After 2 days, another person comes, Swami, I don't like it at all. No, it's not for you. What is for you, what is not for you, that is decided by your samskaras, by all the load of karma that they come with, and the Sadguru who has initiated you. In our case, we believe that Sri Ramakrishna himself, the Satchidananda Swarupa, is a Sadguru. He has taught through the parampara. All the present gurus who initiate you with the mantras, don't think they are all realized soul, they have seen God, but they come in the parampara. The parampara is most vital. Sri Ramakrishna taught Sharada Devi taught her disciples. Through unbroken chain of Guru Shishya parampara, the whole power is flowing. Even now, the same power is flowing through the parampara. That's why such a great Advaitin like Shankara, in the Gita Bhashya 13th chapter, Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga says, Asampradaya vid sarva shastra vidapi murkhavadeva upakshaniyaha. A person who is maybe a great scholar, sarva shastra vid, studied all the shastras, if he does not come in the sampradaya, in the parampara, he should be considered as a murkha and he should be completely ignored and neglected. So he says, Shastrajyopi, without the Guru, Shastrajyopi swatantrena brahmanvesham na kuryaditi guru reva iti avadharanam. So these things, why I am telling you again and again, I assume that all of you are serious sadhakas. You are coming here for peace, enlightenment, in this beautiful atmosphere and the wonderful infrastructure Shantatmanji has built up with his heart's blood, literally. So make use of them for the spiritual sadhana, for your own enlightenment. And we expect you to go and spread this gospel, good message, to your children, to your families, to your friends. Wherever you go, just a little talk, just a little. They may be interested. They may not listen to you, but keep speaking. Why? Because it will enlighten you. Otherwise, you have to listen to what they say. I've seen great senior Swamis. Some reading will be going on. They are old, they'll be lying down. I asked one Swami, you have read the gospel, you're so much. See, somebody will come and disturbs. When reading is going on, oh, you're reading, they'll walk away. If they're interested, they will sit. Just to drive away people who are gossip mongers, we do this. You start talking about something spiritual. I have, through practice for years and years, I've made it a habit. So not many people come to me intimately. Oh, this fellow will start really talking about Ramakrishna and Gospel, Gita and all that. No, not now. Good riddance. You may not say, I say good riddance. Your social life will be affected. Your children will see mom is no fun anymore. You can't socialize, you can't go on partying. Your life will change. Let it. So with this disclaimer, let me say, what is the sadhana based on the Avatara-Tatawa? There's one remarkable verse in the Bhagavad Gita which occurs twice, 9.34, 18.65. You go to the 18.65, last chapter. Just in the previous verse, 64, Sarva Guhya Tamam Bhuyaha Srudame Paramam Vachaha. Mark this. I will discuss tomorrow what is called Guhya Tara, Guhya and Guhya Tama. That is the crux of the whole thing, which the great blessing I received from Swami Atmapriyananda, the insight. He talks about Guhya Tama. Guhyatama, the supremely secret of all secrets, sacred, that is the Avatara-Tatawa. This is the teaching I got from Atmapriyananda. Very rarely anybody taught me this. Sarva Guhyatamam, the greatest and the greatest of all secrets. Shrunume Paramam Vachaha. Listen, O Arjuna, my supreme teaching, Bhagavan calls itself Paramam Vachaha. I am telling you why. Ishtosime dridhamiti tato vakshyamite hitam. For your welfare, for your benefit, for your upliftment, for your spiritual progress and emancipation and liberation, I am telling you, Ishtos, you are so dear to me. Dridhamiti, you are so firm in your conviction, and therefore I am telling you these two shlokas, 65 and 66. Bhagavan Ramanujacharya, Vishishtadvaita Sampradaya, Acharya says, these are Charama shlokas of the Gita. Charama means the supreme, the acme. The acme of the Bhagavad Gita is found in these two shlokas. Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasya satyam te pratijane priyosime sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami mashuchaha. So please stand with me. I will say once, you say twice. Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Loudly, Lord should listen. Mame vaishyasya satyam te pratijane priyosime सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः. This is Abhaya Vachana. He gives you the promise. And the Lord doesn't break his promise. He says, what is the sadhana? Manmana bhava. Here, whenever Bhagavan says I, it is the I of Ishvara, Ishtadevata. You can replace with any of your own Ishtadevata, same form of God everywhere. Mana mana bhava, your mind should be saturated with me. My thoughts, my leelas, whatever form, think of his leelas, read his teachings, and in whatever way, try to be connected to him. This connection is called yoga. Yujudhatu means to connect. Repeatedly, the Bhagavan will say in the Gita, Yukta, Satata Yukta, Nitya Yukta, Yukta Tama. Be connected 24/7, 365 days, infinite broadband connectivity Wi-Fi with me. Not for a moment you will lose connectivity with me, Manmana Bhava, Madhubhaktaha, be my devotee. That means devotion, bhakti means service. Bhajadato means bhajasevayam. Serve me, Nitya Kankaro Bhavani. As Ramanuja would say, I want to be Nitya Kinkara of you. I want to serve you all the time. Madhyaji, you do yajna yaga for me. That means sacrifice. Yaga, yajna means to sacrifice. Everything that I have, I sacrifice unto you. Jaya cheya maralo bahar shapino jivantava sevai. Famous song by Swami Paramesananda ji. Ja cheya mar, whatever I have, I offer you as upahara. He says, as my gift to you, you love somebody, you have to take some gift. What did your children will say, what did you bring me from Himalayas? What did you bring me for this? They want some chocolates, they want some gift. I am giving you me, my body, my mind, my antakarana, my buddhi, my talent. All that I have, I offer you as a gift. I am whole, my whole life is now offered at your feet. Mam namaskuru, bow down to me. This is also an important practice. Earlier I used to think, what this namaskuru, go on doing namaskara to God. It's a very important practice. I used to see Swami Kailashananda ji, whose scoldings for 5 years made me and Swami Atmapriyananda what we are now. Whenever he says, the first sentence will be, every sentence will begin with, Mahapurush Maharaj used to say, when he used to leave his room, he will bow down, namaskar, we used to watch him carefully. And then he'll come out. When he enters into the room, again he'll bow down, again and again. We have heard Swami Vireshwaranji also was the same habit. He used to do some work, suddenly he will stop. Look at the pictures. Mam namaskuru, that means bow down to me. What is the idea? When you bow down, your ego subsides and the power of God flows to you. We call it Sashtanga Namaskara. You know this word? Sashtanga, 8-limbed Namaskara. Namaskara means prostration, falling flat. What is the 8 limbs? The head, 2 hands, 2 legs. How many? 5. Then Manas, Buddhi and Ahankara. 8. Whole thing you fall flat. That's why falling flat at the Lord's feet is very important. I told you this morning, I had the audacity to ask Swami Smaranananda ji, what is the sadhana that you are doing? I'm not seeing you meditating, I'm not seeing you doing anything. He smiled and said, my sadhana is falling flat at his feet. He was not in good health from childhood, he told me. He got smallpox when he was a child. He was about to die. He was so weak in health. He said, I can't do much sadhana. Once he said, my goal is absolutely clear. My path is very clear, but I don't have the strength to walk speedily. I walk at my own pace. But one sadhana, I fall flat. Same thing I noticed in Vireshwaranandaji. Just before the mandir closes, finally, after the bhoga, for a few minutes is open. Every day we used to see him coming to the temple and falling flat. And we brahmacharis used to flock there to see that scene. You can see visibly how is as if he is pouring himself out, his mind, his body, his antakarana, everything is pouring to Ramakrishna as it were, standing like that, and as if he is reporting the day's activity to him. That was South Indian habit which he perhaps inherited. After some time, every day he will come back a little and then tell something more and go. That means at the end of the day, you pour your heart out and said, oh, this is the glory, this is your majesty. I have reported to you all that happened to you. You are the Sangha Nayaka, you are the Supreme Being. You are the head of this whole household called the Ramakrishna Sangha. Mam Namaskuru. Whenever these people used to go out for a tour, the first thing they will do on returning out to the temple. Once Vireshwaranji was returning from somewhere, it was raining. Not heavily, but it was drizzling. He stopped the car in front of the temple, straight went. Because he was the president, people were panicking, looking for umbrellas. He didn't care. Straight went to the temple, fell flat before Ramakrishna, reported to him all that happened. That's what we guess. He came back, went to his room. Whenever he used to go out, whenever he used to come back, and whenever he used to leave the room, even inside the room we have heard, several times, his Shevaks used to say, suddenly he says, light is on, he is not sleeping. Something he is thinking. They used to peep in and say, he used to look at the picture of Ramakrishna. Mam Namaskuru. Because grace will flow to you when you become humble, when your ego may not be fully crushed, but subsides. Then he says, I promise you, Arjuna, give up all your dharma. Means dharma, adharma, all the activities of the mind and the body that you have, surrender them to me. How? Why? Because he is the prime mover. Because of his grace, his power, the whole thing is happening. Brahma devebhyo vijagye tasya brahmano vijaye deva amahiyanta ta ikshanta asmagamevayam vijayo asmagamevayam mahimeti Kenopanishad. The Devatas become terribly egoistic. They victorious before the Asuras. They said, this victory is ours is the glory. Then Brahman wanted to teach it a lesson, became a yaksha, you know that story. So, Ramakrishnasyat sadhibhyo vijagye tasya Ramakrishnasyat vijaye sadhavo amahiyanta ta ikshanta asmagamevayam vijayo asmagamevayam mahimeti. All the wonderful work he has done, what little I have done, everything because of his glory, his power. Sometimes we think, see, did you see what I did? Then he gives a good snub as he gave to Radhi Rashmani. Because the glory is his. That's why we say at the end, Jai Shri Guru Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Shri Mahamaya ki Jai. Jai Shri Swamiji Maharaj ji ki Jai. Jai, the victory is his, the glory is his. And then it says, Mamekam Sharanam Braja, come and surrender to me, your body, your mind. How? Knowing well, full well, the I who am inside your heart making you perform all this. You write a beautiful article on your laptop machine, and the laptop says, did you see my article yesterday? I said, a wonderful article. You fool, did you do that? The person who typed that on your laptop, that did it. Neither the glory of the laptop or anybody else. And the person who's doing it also is doing it because the power of God which is within him. Everything is happening because of his power. This is a Upanishad speaking, Brahman. And who was that Yaksha, who was that being who appeared? That was revealed by Shakti of Brahman. Tomorrow we'll discuss the Shakti and Brahman, the last day. Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. Great promise. I will release you from all sins. What is the sin? Sin is not remembering God. It's the greatest sin. Sin is thinking, I have done this. Not giving credit to God. And usurping all the credit which belongs to nature or God. It's like, I did this. Greatest sin is prajna aparadha. Bhajananda used to say, prajna aparadha. Not remembering your real nature as the Atman, in the language of jnana. Not remembering it is the God who is doing everything within you. Ishvara sarvabhutanam hriddeshe arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarvabhutani intrarudhani mayaya. He is doing everything and you are trying to usurp his glory, stealing the glory. And he says, I will protect you from all sin. These are called the Charama Sloka. It begins with Manmana Bhava, Madhubhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru. 9th chapter, last verse, 934. First line is common. Second line says, Mame Vaishasi Iktvaivam Matmanam Matparayanaha. Ultimately, you will come to me alone. Yuktva, by joining yourself to me. Matparayanaha. Paramam Mayanam. I am the supreme goal of your life. You will come to me alone. Simple methods he has given, not difficult to practice. Manmana bhava, maybe slightly difficult. Constant thought of God as much as possible. Madhubhakta, remain as a devotee, serve him. Serve all beings as manifestations of the same Ishtadevata. Madhyaji, sacrifice unto him. Nam Namaskuru is easily practicable even physically. You will come to me, being united with me. And he says, Mameva Ishyasi, you will come to me. Satyam de pratijane. See, look at the Lord's. I promise you. Shatti Shatti Asbi. In Bengali, there is Sati and Sati Shatti. It means, in English, you say something, is it true? Yes. It is really true? No, I have to think about it carefully. True and really true are two different things, slightly. So, I promise you, Satyam, Bhagavan himself says it is true. I am speaking the truth before you, Arjuna. Pratijane, I promise. This is my promise to you. Why? Priyosime, because you are so dear to me. And therefore I am telling you this. Just do these practices. Very easy practices, as much as possible, as much as you can, but with Shraddha and with humility. Shraddha is absolutely necessary because we are weak in body and mind and intellect. We may be the great Atman, but we do not have that strength in us. I will answer questions later. So this is easily practicable. So I will take questions in the last day, 1 full hour I will take questions. Because in between, because your answers you might find tomorrow also. As somebody said, oh, we have found answers from your talks. So you need not be anxious to question and learn. So the anxiety hold for 24 hours tomorrow. So the last session tomorrow will exclusively devote to only questions. Please frame your questions carefully. Don't throw questions just because you need to ask questions or because you want theoretical answers. Please don't bring in theory. Some people say, Swami, is asampragyata samadhi same as nirvikalpa samadhi? I said, please practice sitting quietly for 1 minute and come and tell me later. See, these theoretical questions have meaning for you. Swami Madhavananda ji never used to lecture. 1964, during Swami Vivekananda's centenary time he came, I was just 15 years old. I started going to Mutt. I attended. He said, I will not speak. If somebody has questions, I can answer. A beautiful question somebody asked. If the Atman is Nitya Mukta, ever free, who is it that gets liberated? Do you understand the question? If the Atman is ever free, who gets liberated? Just one line answer immediately. He who thought he was bound. Look at the answer. Only a man of realization can talk like this. Last question somebody said, Swami, if we have full awakening in sleep, is it samadhi? He smiled, got up and went away. Didn't answer this. Later on somebody asked, it's a purely theoretical question. What will he do? Is it part of his sadhana? Doing it Sushupti and Samadhi, Nidhavikalpa, Samikalpa, Vitarka, Vichara, Ananda, Aspita Samadhi, Sampragnata. All that is beautiful infotainment spiritually. But to be able to understand what is Samadhi, how far you have to go. It is useful. It may have some kind of idea you may get just to feel what is the great spiritual treasure of our Indian Dana Parampara, the great heritage of India, to know that. So let us be practical as much as we can practice. If you have any serious practical questions, as far as I know, as far as I have understood, I will try to answer. Please don't my time and your time asking spiritual, theoretical questions. I'm just the last person for it. Some scriptures, somewhere you ask, Shankara says this, why not that, etc. You can ask somebody else, I'm not interested. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.